Hey, hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia and today I'm going to be doing a new series on my channel called Book Before Movie. So grab a cup of coffee and your copy of The Outsiders and let's start chatting. So basically this series is inspired by Tolstoy. I have it behind this. So basically I'm going to be chatting with you about some books and their movie adaptations and drinking some coffee. Got some decaf here because it's nighttime and I am not about to not sleep. Oh my god, when did that happen? Anyway, so the first book that I decided to do for this series is one of my favorites, and that is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is the 50th anniversary exclusive collector's edition. It's really pretty, I actually love it. So recently I reread this book and then watched the movie adaptation, obviously. I love it. I can't understand how I love this so much, and it's only like less than 200 pages, and it has such an amazing story, cast of characters, and like themes that are so important and relevant even though it was written obviously like 50 years ago. I don't know if this is considered a classic, but it's definitely, if it is, then it's like one of my favorite classics. I'm not someone who enjoys classics. I tend to not appreciate the writing style of people like Charlotte Bronte and Shakespeare, but this was super relatable to teenage life, I guess, for 50 years, and that's why it's so widely popular. As far as the movie goes, it was made in 1983, I think. It has an amazing cast. It has like Patrick Swayze, Robert Lowe, Tom Cruise, other people. Overall, I really liked the movie. I think it stayed pretty gosh darn true to the book. I was reading reviews and like some people are saying like it wasn't very true to the story, and I'd have to agree with some respects. There are like two distinct parts that I know were cut out, and it's kind of interesting to me, especially since the movie is like pretty short. It's like 1 hour and 30 minutes. Why exactly they decided to cut out some, as I think, are really important parts to the story. The two things I'm talking about are some beginning events and then a lot of the ending. It's like gone. I was watching the movie for the first time today, and like we got into it and they kind of like recapped things that were talked about in the book, like in the beginning, rather than like showing them, which I thought was interesting. I mean, it's whatever, it's a creative choice. As far as the ending goes, I think it was super rushed in the movie, and I liked how S.E. Hinton really like took her time in the ending, because at least for me, I think the ending's a little slower, especially since like the main events of the story happen, and then it's kind of like, you know, dealing with the repercussions, the what is it? But it's like the ending bit, and that was just totally like not established in the movie, which I thought was super weird because it just kind of ended and I was like, where's like this whole chunk of time and things? I honestly don't know why I really love this book and movie. I can't really explain it. Like, I think at its core it's like, you know, about friendship and being different than other people, and how differences not only make you special, but you can actually like bring people together, and everyone's kind of the same and we all have our issues and things. There are a few quotes from The Outsiders that I just wanted to show. Actually, this edition is really cool. In the end papers, it has some amazing quotes. I like books where I feel emotionally attached to the characters and the story, and if you've read or watched the movie, I definitely recommend reading the book first because there's more things. There's always more things in the book. Even if it's like a 180-page book, the movie's always going to cut stuff out. And like this gives you like more context. It really like establishes characters. This is one problem I have with movies. I always say like I don't like movies because I want to get attached to the characters. If I'm not, then I won't like the movie, if that makes any sense. Like if I don't feel anything towards the story and I don't feel really grounded, then I'm not gonna like it, and that's why I have problems with some movies. But anyways, some of the amazing quotes that are in this book were not in the movie, and there is one part and it has like one of my favorite quotes, like one of the most iconic quotes, not this one, but like, my dog is barking. Hello? I'm back. This is my brother, we're good. In any story, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, but you really just get more out of a book, or at least I do. Personally, I just don't like movies as much, and I always like the book better. But that being said, the movie was amazing and I loved it a whole gosh darn ton. But of course there are like small details that just really make like a book for me, and those are like left out. In the movie adaptation, I kind of just, like I feel a little sad. Like I feel a little sad because like, you know, you're looking forward to like this one line. Maybe the two different worlds we lived in weren't so different. We saw the same sunset. I want to give context because spoilers, but that's one of my favorite quotes. It's not in the movie. And there's like kind of like one of the quotes that's like later, which is similar, but like not before. It doesn't pack as much of a punch, you know? I don't know. Beginning and the middle of the movie were very rushed, and like I just felt like things were happening so quickly, and I was like, wait, we're already there? Like, did I miss something? And I was kind of scared. No, I wasn't. And as far as like the resolution goes, that's what it's called, that was the quickest resolution I have ever experienced in the movie. Like, it was like, here's this thing and like we're done, goodbye. I was like, at the end? Where's like the last like 50 pages? So I do wish the ending was different. It ends with like the same like scene, but like it misses like other ones. Does that make sense? In order to like really understand the characters, you kind of really needed a few more scenes. The scenes were good because they were very closely adapted from the book. The missing scenes were what hindered my enjoyment, I guess. Not to say I didn't enjoy it, because I did. I'm just being overly critical. I just think it's weird, honestly. Like, I just think it's kind of weird that like they had to cut down like a movie to an hour and 30 minutes. Like, boy, that's not long. Like, I'd be there for 2.5 hours. If like it meant the whole story was like getting out there, I don't know. I guess it was like an editor's choice. The editing was also strange. As like a kind of, I mean, I edit videos like for my channel, but like as someone who like notices video editing, the 80s, when they just think they know how to video edit, is so weird. The moral of the story is you can get more out of a book than its movie form. However, if you read the book, you should watch the movie, because things look a lot different sometimes, and then you kind of like see what, if it's like written by the author, then you see kind of what the author had in mind. But people interpret books differently, I think, which is one of my favorite things, and I think that it's great. Like, you can read a line and get like a different impact, and it can connect with you in some other way that like it won't to any other person, and that's amazing. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. If you like read something and it like changes your opinion, changes your perspective, and impacts you in a different way than it's going to impact anyone else. And I feel like you just don't get that with a movie, because I feel like you can't interpret a movie differently than other people, because there's so much more to a movie. But when you're just reading it and it's just exposition and dialogue, you really can kind of have your own world, and it becomes more of your story and not someone else's. And that's what I love. That was beautiful. Oh my god, I loved that. I've had 4 cups of coffee today. I'm a little... I feel like I'm gonna finish this video oh my god. I feel like I should finish this video like once I'm done with my cup of coffee. I think that like would make sense. Sports. We love them. Oh shit, okay. I'm so emo. Like, I finished reading this book today. Like, I finished rereading it. And then I watched the movie right after, and I'm an emotional person sometimes. And I, like, of course, like, I read this and I cried, like, the first time, and then I read it again and I cried, obviously. And then I, like, watched the movie and I cried, and I was like, well, this was a day. I, like, already had, like, such a day today. I don't recommend like reading it and then watching it back to back, because you will be like emotionally like distraught, because like that's how I feel. But I will say the really emotional parts were so fucking good. Like, and like this one part, I really actually did love the editing when Ponyboy is reading a letter. It is fan-freaking-tastic. It makes me cry every single time. Oh! One last thing about the movie, just like one other, most of the movie was great, like freaking-tastic, acting 10 out of 10, everything was great. I just didn't like this one little smidgeny detail. 2 of the kind of more minor greasers were not really individualized, is that a word? But they weren't really like delved into, and they weren't like, okay, like this is this guy and like whatever. It was kind of like, oh yes, up, and then it was like, wait, who was that? Like, I was like, is that guy or that? So I kind of, it's just for these like 2 characters. I think it was 2-Bit and Steve, maybe. You didn't get to like hear from them, and you didn't get to hear their personalities and like whatever their life is like. It more focused on, you know, Ponyboy and Derry and Soda Pop and Johnny and Dally, like, you know, the main people. But I feel like they're more like distinct in the book, so I was confused, and I kind of had to go on like Wikipedia and be like, which actor like is which, like which one's which. Like I'm confused. So that was a little confusing, and I think that if you hadn't read the book, you probably, and even though I read the book, I was still confused of like who was, I don't know. Because there was this one guy and he was just like eating chocolate cake and I was like, what? Who are... So I do like think that if you read the book you might be like less confused, but I did read the... I don't know. I'm not making sense. Alright, my coffee's gone. That means it's time to close this thing up. Sorry if this was a little all over the place. I have had a lot of coffee today and this is the first in a series, question mark. Please let me know down below if you have any like specific like book to movie things or you want to chat about The Outsiders, because I will be so down. I haven't read the second book. Well, it's kind of like a companion. So like if there are any like book to movie adaptations you want me to do soon, I do have some ideas already. Like it's all hush hush. It's like a surprise, but if you want to let me know, of course, feel free to do it below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!